pleasure to welcome you to the brand new year's edition of your favorite Q Sports show. Welcome to Q Sports on Ascent Television. My name is Jide Olaniran, and as usual, I'm back with the guys in the studio. Let me start from my immediate right. Wale Osomo joins me again.
Hi, Jide.
Happy New Year, Wale.
Happy New Year, bro.
Yeah, it's good to have you again.
Thank you.
All right, Joe is also here. Joe, Happy New Year to you.
My pleasure, Jide, as usual.
On the show today, we will be looking at the development of pool and snooker in Nigeria. And also we'll be looking at the SPPA ranking, the latest ranking. And the big news is the fact that Chinese 8 ball is in Nigeria, courtesy of the SPPA. These are some of the things we'll be looking at on the show. So stay with us as we take you through all the menus we'll be serving. Welcome once again, and Happy New Year to you. Let's get down to business. Let's look at pool development in Nigeria. This is one of the oldest sports in Nigeria. At some point it was, the rave of the moment, and suddenly disappeared. It was off the radar, but it's gradually coming back. But what can we do to sustain this tempo? Let me ask Wale. Wale, over to you.
Thank you. As far as I'm concerned, we literally have to get back into that space. Pool is a very addictive game. Q Sports, very, very addictive. And over the years, I've always seen that the younger ones, tend to take to it very, very much so. So it's just a matter of throwing them back into that space and saying, hey, everybody, let's play this game again. And I believe within a short period of time, 6 months, 9 months, people will come back, flock back to the game, and we will make it very, very exciting for the people to come. Fortunately, we have the might of the Chinese coming. The Chinese have looked at the most populous country in the world. They've now looked at the most populous country in Africa, the most populous black country, and they're saying, let's go and do business with these people. And so we are waiting. We're ready. Waiting for them.
Man, it's an honor really. Of course, I don't really envy myself because onto my right is a player. I won't call him a former player because in his element on a good day, take everyone to the cleaners. That's Wale for you. And to my left is the president of the Snooker Pool Player Alliance in Nigeria. That's the president, Joachim Idada. So Joe, I'm talking to the right people. When we look at the development of pool, so I'm not missing the mark. I'm with the right people, in the right company. Okay, Joe, so taking it from where Wale stopped, we're looking at...
Yes, if I take cue from Wale, what happened previously? Why did it go down? Why did it go down south? I think one of the greatest challenges that happened in the past was the absence of what I call the proper structure that will sustain the momentum, sustain the growth, and that we can link up Nigeria with the global community. It was missing. So pool in the past, we all played pool pretty young in the 70s, 80s, 90s. A lot of people had this opinion that pool was a hustlers game, pool was for gamblers, and pool was for people that drank, and pool was basically for NFAs, people without any ambition. Mr. Wale is a reputable lawyer, and he's one of the best pool players Nigeria has produced. He's one of the few pool players that has gone to a Q Sports or a pool academy or a snooker academy, and he's well grounded, and he's a lawyer. He points to the fact that this game or this sport was not really for the riffraffs. But actually, I think what was missing then was the absence of a proper structure that was linked to the global or international community. And that is what I think the SPA is. That's what we, let me not say the SPA, that's what we are trying to achieve, create a structure, and the structure will link with Africa, and through that we can link with the global community. And I believe we do that, or when we achieve it, we have already achieved it, but we need to build on it. We need to build. The foundation is laid. We have the SPA. The responsibility of the SPA is to rank players. Currently, we'll talk about ranking later. Yours truly, prof. It's not it's not an academic prof, but we call it the prof of pool and the professor of snooker. He's here, he's the highest ranked player, doing well on the table, still showing the younger ones that they have a long way to go. They have so much to learn when it comes to snooker or pool. And we still have clubs out there, we have bars out there. But right now, I think the point is we are trying to bring in all of these people into the structure. And once we bring them into the structure, then everything will be set. I would say it will be history. But we can look forward to it.
Of course, I know it's
a brighter future.
It's a developing story, and it's a developing story that we'll be talking about pool in Nigeria. I think one of the things for me, because we need to get down to serious business, and one of the things I feel we can do also to make sure that pool returns to where it used to be, or the bigger thing is that we create a product out of it.
Yes.
Which is, if you want it to be a product, that means a lot still needs to be done with the way it is right now.
Oh yes, definitely. And let me say this. World over, the people that know, there's a structure to sports. There's a structure. You know, first and foremost, we're talking about governance of the game. You know, in most sports, when you're talking about origins of sports, you go back to Athens. That's where the Olympics started. And they now structured something. Sports is a concept. Sports is a business. Sports is a way of life. Okay, there's going to be governance around it. Okay, when we say governance, who are the people to play? What are the regulations? Under what circumstances are you playing this thing? Under what rules? That has to be defined. Okay, and in those days, you know, people just pick up a cue table, a cue, yeah, and then the table, and then they just play anyhow. No, and then they were saying there were hustlers in the streets. Yes, you go to the streets of New York, London, you know, Bangladesh, Philippines, anywhere. There are people hustling. But when we want to make this, turn this into a worthy sport, a way of life, a business, rules and regulations have to come in. Okay? And even to the extent that even the government, you go to the government and say, this is what we want to do. We're a group of people, we're a freedom of association. There's a group of us who want to do X, Y, Z because we want to earn a living from this. Honest living. And of course the government says, go ahead, do it. Because the government is also wise that they can generate so much from this by way of taxes, by way of engagement of different people doing so many different things. You see, so that exists. The governance aspect of it. What about the event? When you're putting the event together, what are the things involved? Look at the infrastructure you're talking about. Can you imagine us starting this Chinese sponsored thing in Nigeria, and we're talking about all the 36 states of the Federation? You know, what is the infrastructure that's going to be used for this thing? You know, different stadia, different bars. You're talking about broadcast of the thing. You know, who are the people involved? What's the role of the new media in this arrangement? What's the involvement of even ticketing, for example? You know, I mean, different people are going to handle that. On the day of the day of the event, what happens? You know, entertainment-wise, you know, engaging different people. So it's a broad spectrum of events, you know, and nobody, you know, there's a whole world out there, and it needs to be part of it. And funny enough, when I was coming for this program this evening, you know, one of my daughters said, "Oh, Dad, so and so person says you are the #1 pool player in anyway." I said, "Yes, something like that." I said, "How did she know?" You know, she said, her brother came home and mentioned my name.
And she said, oh, that yes, so that's a main guy in so and so place. And then my other daughter said, if that's the case, how come nobody knows about you? How come this thing has died down? And I said to her that, you know what, I'm going for a TV program now. And the whole idea is to revive this game of pool and snooker in Nigeria. And there are people who know you. And she says, well, I very, very much hope so, because there seems to be a lot of talk about it. You know? And so, just tonight, I have a challenge from the new generation that we're going to make a lot out of this. When I say make a lot, you know, we're bringing it back to life. You know, and it takes people who know what to do. It's not only in pool, for goodness sake.
In all the sports.
In all the sports. And we are not waiting for government.
Yes.
Waiting for government is like waiting for the Third World War. You know, it's something that needs to be done. And it must be done by people who know what to do. You know, and that's why we are here.
Fantastic. Guys, I think there's so much to be done on the show we need to cover, and maybe we should just move straight to the SPPA ranking, which is part of what we're talking about, because the structure is what has given birth to the ranking too. So Wale Osomo is coincidentally he is the number one player on the ranking with 1,805 points. Yeah, that's it. With that 1,806 rather. 6 points, leading that pack, and followed by Daniel Ebulue. Daniel Ebulue is with 1,805.10. That is what Charles Agbesin 1,535.20, and Obaro Bute 1,158.50. So at this point, maybe I should ask you, is there any surprise for you before I come to Wale? Because Wale should explain what he needs to add more, what he's doing.
So let's explain how the ranking is done.
Okay.
Right now in Nigeria we have 7 levels.
Okay.
7 levels. It goes from level 1 to level 7. By the time we get to level 6, we should begin to consider you more like a professional player. Right now, every one of us is still below 2,000. And when you are below 2,000, you are still, we classify you as not even an amateur, you are still at the leisure stage. Prof is here, Wale. He says he needs very, very, very strong hands so that to make it play at the level it is. But right now everybody is still playing at the leisure level. That is, we are all playing for the fun of it. Even though there's a structure and there's a ranking, and that is, we are all below 2,000. Last year, Prof had made he had expressed his desire that he wants to get into 2,000. The joy of him getting to 2,000 was the same thing that made Danny Bulu look at him as a potential target. So the more he's trying to run, other people are pursuing him. So right now, Prof is still the highest ranked player, despite him being a leisure player.
Alright, the way it is right now, to engender more competition, that means there should be room for more players around the
There's
country.
room for every player all over Nigeria, provided you play pool and you want to play pool for sports.
Okay.
There are people playing pool for different reasons, which we don't need to even go into now. What we are focused on in this program is those who are interested in playing pool or snooker as a sport. And for you to play pool or snooker as a sport, then it is necessary your proficiency gets quantified. And it is that proficiency, that value that is important to us. And for now, Prof Wale is Nigeria #1 with 1806. Anybody who says he is better than Prof, he can go, not challenge him, because if you challenge him, even though you win him 1,000 times, it amounts to nothing. Go and join the rank and let us see how quickly you can get to that point. I could tell you there's a player that came in from Sweden and was all mouth. Oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I said, are you sure? You said, I said, okay. I said, don't worry, you play with the people that are far, far, far below. And within 3 weeks, you got frustrated. Yes, because you see, there's a difference between playing street pool or street snooker and playing snooker. It's a different temperament. It's a different psychology. Everything is different.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. But now to the man who's stopping the ranking, that's talking Wale. Wale, what are the plans for this year? Because I know that one of the incentives you could get is by getting more players, the more the merrier, getting them into the circuit so that you can see how to move to the next level.
Yes, the key thing is once we've identified the players who are playing, we need to roll with sponsorship. And sponsorship is key. The game itself provides content. I keep saying this. The game provides content. The players come and they are the ones people want to watch. They want to watch their skills, they want to watch their talent, they want to watch their ability to work hard.
They want to watch you. Like I don't want to watch you. Yeah, so I want to see who can beat you. So,
yes, I mean that would actually I think I will start costing this thing, you know.
They don't know.
It seems I'm playing for free. He does mention that everybody's playing for leisure. You know?
No, we are not playing for leisure, we are playing for points.
Right. So we will take this thing gradually. It's a gradual process, you know, until we get to the professional aspect of the game. Where, you know, the beauty of this thing will be when the players are being, somebody comes and says, I want to be your manager. Now, what does it take to be my manager? That means everything I'm doing in the game, you're taking care of me.
Yeah.
You know? So if there are 12 tournaments in a year, you will be the one to go and make sure that I get registered for those 12 tournaments. You'll be the one to make sure that I get the best cues in the world to use. I practice on the best tables. I eat the best of food, you know, I'm well groomed.
I sleep on the best of bed.
Absolutely.
And I drive the best car.
Something like that.
And I have a good house.
And I get the best sponsorship in the world.
Yes.
For example, one of these
Even branded does
yes,
car.
yes. That's the
branded does that.
So that is where we are going.
Yeah.
Okay? It's one step after the other. We've got to dream it. And then when we wake up, we implement what we've seen in the dream, you know, and this provides good business for everybody. Everybody's happy at the end of the game. You know, one aspect of sports that people do not realize is very, very key is sports broadcasting.
Yeah.
You know, everybody watches TV and we see sports and stuff, and we do not know what goes on behind the scenes. You know. That is another business on its own, sports broadcasting, you know. And so when we have all these things set up, you know, I keep saying a spectrum of activity, broadcaster, professional, sponsorship, even the finance aspect of it is key from the perspective of the banks, from the perspective of gaming, even betting. It's all part of the whole thing, you know, sponsorship. Advertising. There's a concept called ambush marketing in sports. You know, you've got to understand all these things. And you know, it makes the whole thing exciting for everybody. And believe me, they tell you that in Europe, what's their biggest industry, or an industry that is comparable to what we have here in Nigeria. Our greatest income earner in Nigeria today is what? Oil.
Okay.
You know, sports can earn us as much.
Far more.
It can earn us as much.
Far more. Ideally, because it can create employment for a wider number of people than what oil can do.
So that's where we're going. That's where we're going, and believe me, it's going to happen because we've. My daughters are waiting for it to happen.
So, all right. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I just have to prove to them that yes, it's going to happen.
All right. That's a good one. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at the Chinese 8-ball pool that is launching in Nigeria. And this, good to have this gentleman with me. We'll be looking at it because it has the prospect.
Sponsored by Hubei Provincial Sports Bureau and Qinhuangdao Municipal Government, Bank of Qinhuangdao and Joy Cup 8th World Chinese Pool Masters Grand Finals. The world's largest pool league, million champion prize, 32 overseas divisions, more than 60 participating countries, over 80,000 wonderful matches, nearly 500 million man-time reaches. Selected by the Propaganda Department of the Central Committee of the CPC as the Chinese Culture Going Global key project. Harmony in diversity, moisture things silently, connecting the big world with small balls. Embrace the world in the language of Chinese pool. Establish the worldwide family of Chinese pool. January 2nd to January 8th, 2020, Qinhuangdao Olympic Sports Center, Bank of Qinhuangdao and Joy Cup 8th World Chinese Pool Masters Grand Finals. Brilliant and wonderful. Welcome home.
Welcome back, and you're still watching Q Sport on ASEAN Television. And right now, we will be talking about the latest thing to happen to pool in Nigeria. The pool sport is the fact that there is a Nigeria-China relationship which received a boost, and it's between the Snooker Pool Player Alliance and Qinhuangdao Joy Billiards Sports Promotion Co. Limited in China. And this partnership is massive, I must confess. It is massive. And in case you're joining us, this is one news that won't go away so fast because it is here to stay. So, gentlemen, let's look at this partnership, May 11, I would say. All right. Yes, it's not an accident that the player, one of our players in the country, is also a lawyer who also is very vast when you talk about contracts. This is a partnership and you have gone through it, and what do you think? If I may ask you now, Wale.
Yes, it's a good start. It's a contract, and the terms and conditions I've looked at, and we will discuss further on the effect of this thing. But the what I see there is the intention. Okay. It's laudable. Unfortunately, it's in the first instance, it's going to be for a 5-year period. And what happens in the 5 years? It gives the crowd, the players, the opportunity to aspire. If, for example, I don't make it this year, I know I still have another 5 years ahead of me, to actually get to the top. And what they're asking for, what the Chinese people are asking for, as far as I'm concerned, is that opportunity to enter the Nigerian market and to make us do something for ourselves. It's not, I don't see anything that's too demanding. Rather, I even believe that we have a lot more to benefit from this thing. And we want to also be on the world stage in 5 years' time. For us to actually, for us to be able to make waves on the world stage, we're not going to do it overnight. We're not going to do it in 2 years. In 5 years' time, I actually believe we will now be at the starting point of greatness. That's the way I say it, starting point of greatness. So this contract between us, it's a good start. I've looked at it and I'm happy with what I've seen so far.
In any just like any other contract, if there are any areas that are a bit grey, not too certain, we can always look at that and say, okay, let's tweak it a bit and see what we can get out of it. So the sky, like I say, is maybe the starting point for us on this transaction. And I'm pleased with it.
And it's important to state at this point that actually Joy Billiards is sponsoring what you call the African Master Store.
Okay.
The African Master Store.
Wow.
Currently, it is restricted to South Africa.
Okay.
And that's players from South Africa. And a few players being invited from Kenya and Rwanda to join South Africa. I believe most sincerely that first, Nigeria, by its location at the neck of Africa, is a better location for us to really transform our pool and snooker here. We can be the mecca of Africa pool and snooker. That's the first thing. And it is also important to say that once we can go, our players can go to China and prove their worth, then the Chinese can now begin to say, oh, there is something in Nigeria, and they can come and support us in a bigger way to really structure, not structure because it's already structured, but to add greater value so that Nigeria can become what I call the hub for the African Master Store. In my discussion with Tonzan, like every tour, they are hoping that the Master Store, you can go from country to country. That means the players, once they've identified, it's not just any player, once they've identified the good player who we can classify as master, we can go from Nigeria, maybe the next month they're in South Africa, the next other months they'll go to Kenya, the third month, fourth month they'll go to Rwanda, and they go like that. Then more and more countries join the African Chinese Pool Master Store. And they are very serious about it. So they've tested it, it was good, but once Nigeria is not something, we bring in, there's something about Nigeria. Once anything we go into, we bring life into it. And they are so enthusiastic about having Nigeria in the African Master Store. The question is that, how do we raise how do we identify the players? How do we train the players? How do we now, and part of it is sponsorship. It's important we mention that Joy Billiards has offered to sponsor one player to the Joy Cup that takes place in China, all expense paid. The remaining 4 players, they have agreed that they will give tickets for you to go there. Then the rest things you will go and source. SPA, even though SPPA is not a player management company, but SPA will be willing to support any of the players meet up with the funding to make them go there. But the important thing is good for us to mention that there's a culture in Nigeria that where players think that, oh, once you have the opportunity of going to play abroad is the window for you to do a quick up. No, under the SPPA, we will not. That is why, like Wale said, every sport has its own ethics. Okay. We want to make sure that the players that are going are actually players, not people who are hustling and who are looking for a ticket to
they must even belong to the alliance.
That's the first.
They must belong to the alliance, players alliance, and they must be professional, not just those who just want to take advantage of. That is what will happen. Anyway, guys, this is where we call it a show today. I want to thank you once again for coming.
Thank you very much. And also thank my daughters who insist that I've got to do something good for pool.
All right, that's it. So, Daddy is a promise. Daddy will definitely do you proud. Don't worry. It's just a matter of time, and it has started right now. And Joe too. Congratulations for putting that.
Our pleasure. We are happy. I think the next thing we need to do is very soon we'll have we'll be showing pool on we'll be showing pool on local stations in Nigeria, but that is a critical aspect of it because we need to show not only we show international players. Ours won't be like football. Ours won't be like that. We only go and show you EPL. No. We'll first show you the Chinese masters. We look at those ones that are playing. Then very soon we will migrate to start showing you people like Prof himself. I know Prof will always say, no, I don't want my baby to be on television. I don't want my baby. But now your daughter is doing, I'm going to sign it.
We'll train her to play.
I will get your daughter to convince you.
Anyway, for us here on Asset Television, we'll do our best to project this Q Sports, just like we're doing. So trust us to bring you the latest and the best as far as snooker and pool is concerned. On behalf of the production team, my name is Jide Olaniran. Happy New Year, and let's do this thing another time.